Hey, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? We got a breaking story for you guys here right now. Another breaking story, and another one has happened at ESPN. They strike again at ESPN. So apparently, actually, before we get into it, let me just allow some people to catch up to this live. Also, type in the comments where you're coming in from, and then we're gonna get into this live. We got a bit of a breaking story here that ESPN has just fired Mark Jackson. He's the next person to go. So just make sure you type where you're coming in from. Let me get the article here. Let's give it like about 2 minutes, a minute or so, to allow people to catch up to this live right here. So let me just do that real quick. Let me get these articles ready. Make sure you check in and let us know where you're coming in from. Shout out to California, New Zealand. Welcome in, welcome in. Shout out to New York. Who else is in here? Seattle, New York, Nevada. I see you. Paula Cross, Nevada. AT, Boston. Was good. Vernon, 85. Let's give it like 30 more seconds. Chicago, Philly. Shout out to Philly, Milwaukee, St. Louis, San Antonio, Michigan, Detroit, H-Town. That's what's up. Let's give it like 20 more seconds. Detroit, Miami. Damn, so many people. Phoenix, Detroit, Memphis. A lot of people from Detroit. South Carolina, Florida. Somebody said, what? Maryland. Shout out to Maryland. The Bahamas. Wow. Appreciate that. Upstate New York. ATL. What's good? Texas. Okay. So we got a breaking story for you guys here today. Mark Jackson just got fired by ESPN. ESPN strikes yet again. And they just fired Mark Jackson. Now, to be quite honest with you guys, I was actually dozing off. I was so sleepy. And I look at my group chat for the guys that work at Dreamers Pro, and Mitch sends me a picture from the score, and it goes, Mark Jackson got demoted. I'm like, wait, what? And then I'm like, can you send me the article? And then it says Mark Jackson is being laid off by ESPN, and they're going to be promoting Doris Burke and Doc Rivers while firing Mark Jackson. So we're getting this here from Yahoo. It's all over the internet. I'm just going to pin this one right here. So this is from Yahoo Sports. Let me see. How do I pin this comment? All right. Let me pin this to the top right there so you guys can check it out. So I'm going to read it for you guys. So basically what this article is saying, ESPN reportedly lays off Mark Jackson, plans to hire Doc Rivers, promotes Doris Burke. ESPN's ongoing talent shakeup is expected to produce a dramatically revamped A team for its NBA broadcast. Per the New York Post, Andrew Marchand, the network has laid off longtime analyst Mark Jackson and is planning to promote analyst Doris Burke to call games alongside lead play-by-play man Mike Breen. It's also expected to hire Doc Rivers to complete the three-person team that anchors the network's NBA Finals coverage. ESPN did not publicly address the news after it broke Monday's afternoon. Contract discussions with Burke and Rivers are still pending, but expected to be finalized. Rivers has spent 24 seasons in the NBA coach. They're going to be bringing him in. Let's move on a little bit forward. And then there's something else I want to read. Yeah. Hold on right here. They said something about ESPN. Yes. So ESPN also, by getting rid of Mark Jackson, is another point that I want to cover, because ESPN is about to make history, I believe, by promoting the first female. Let me just get this right. ESPN is set to revolutionize the NBA coverage by following the firing of Jeff Van Gundy in June. The sports network is said to be preparing to finalize a number of changes, including promoting Doris Burke to the NBA Finals coverage. The New York Post claims Burke will be the first woman to form a part of the NBA Finals coverage, and she is going to be joined by Doc Rivers, Hall of Fame play-by-play caller, and Hall of Fame play-by-play caller. And you know, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. They fire Max Kellerman. Now, some people had some opinions one way or the other. Some people like keep Max Kellerman. Some people like fire Max Kellerman. No problem. They fire Jalen Rose. Some people are like keep Jalen Rose, get rid of Jalen Rose. Then they fire Jeff Van Gundy, who I never heard anybody complain about Jeff Van Gundy. Then they fire Keyshawn Johnson, but then they decided to keep Kendrick Perkins, a decision that caused a lot of people to wonder why. Then on top of that, they decided to get rid of keep Malika Andrews, a decision that left a lot of people scratching their heads. And then at the end of all of it, they're now going to fire Mark Jackson. Let me tell you guys something interesting. I'm not a very big Star Wars fan. For the people that are coming in. ESPN just laid off Mark Jackson. That's what we're covering. ESPN has laid off Mark Jackson. They're going to be promoting Doris Burke and Doc Rivers to go alongside Mike Breen. So ESPN has fired Mark Jackson. Anyway, hey, shout out to Dragonfly Jones. Appreciate that. I was recently watching the last Star Wars movie. And I'm not a huge follower of Star Wars, but I was watching the last Star Wars movie. I'm going somewhere with this. Matter of fact, let me just get it up right here. Star Wars movies. I was recently watching one of the Star Wars movies. I believe it was, let me see. I can't remember Star Wars film. Anyway, it was the last one. And they got this black actor in the movie, the guy, right? And I'm watching this movie. And then they had this other girl in the movie, and I'm watching the movie, and I'm like, okay, what is going on here? The movie goes on and on and on, and as the movie is going on, I quickly begin to realize, and I say to myself, wait a minute, I'm not enjoying this movie. It feels like they're trying to force this lady down on me watching this movie. So I stopped watching the movie. I stopped. And then I thought to myself, yes, John Boyega, yes. And then I thought to myself, it seems like ESPN has been on this kick about female empowerment, which there's nothing wrong, by the way, with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But it seems like ESPN is going out of its way to empower women, not necessarily because they may deserve the particular position that they're trying to give them, but instead they're trying to do it to send a message. So it's no longer about who's the best for this particular job. It's just that we're going to keep pushing this. Now, I want to have an honest conversation here with the audience. For the new people coming in, maybe Mark Jackson was a little bit too much of a man's man. I don't know. But to me, Mark Jackson is the one that came up with the phrase, mama, there goes that man. Man down, man down. They're going to get rid of Mark Jackson? Mark Jackson. But I've been noticing that ESPN has been on this type of kick. Recently, I think they did a show where it was produced, well, all of the talent that were on the show was all women. The production crew was all women. And I think the producers and everyone else was all women. And I'm asking myself, why are they doing this? What is the need for this? And the thing I don't understand is, as a male that watches sports, I'm just being honest with you, and I think a lot of men, excuse me, and I think a lot of men watching this live will agree with me. Whether it's right or wrong, I just think that men enjoy to see sports covered by men. I don't know if that's sexist. I don't know if it's not, but I know that being a man and listening to other men, I get this feeling that men enjoy that. And I don't think it makes them bad to enjoy that. And I think, and here's the reason why. because I think men can identify easier with men. This is just my view. I could be wrong. So it's easier to relate. If I'm playing a video game, that's just me. If I'm playing a video game and you can choose between characters, either male or female, I'm always going to choose the male. Why? Not because I hate women, no, but I can identify easier with the guy. I'm a guy. I can envision myself being the guy. And I don't think that ESPN, number one, understands that. And number two, I feel like they don't care anymore. I feel like a lot of what they're doing, I don't know if it's politically driven or agenda driven. I don't know at this point. I don't know. Because some of the names that they're getting rid of, now some could say maybe these guys have a lot of money. I mean, they're very expensive and all of these different things. Probably. But to me, I don't understand these decisions. I really don't. I don't understand these decisions that ESPN is making at this point. For the new people coming in, excuse me, the report just came out that ESPN is laying off Mark Jackson. In addition to that, they're going to be promoting Doris Burke, and she will be covering NBA games alongside Mike Breen. And I think ESPN now, by doing this, they will make history because it'll be the first time you'll see a woman covering an NBA Finals game. Actually, covering the game, talking about it. To me, I think this decision is something that a lot of people are not going to be happy with, to be quite honest with you. I don't know what ESPN is doing these days. I really, really don't know. And I don't know why they continuously do this, knowing that it's alienating people. If you guys listen to some of these reports, they are losing subscribers left and right. People are unsubscribing to the TV package or whatever it is, left and right. And for whatever reason, they still continue. They still continue. I don't know why. I don't know why you would actively, excuse me, I don't know why you would actively try to alienate your audience. I just don't get it. Why would you actively try to do that? Like, what is going on at ESPN? What is going on? Why didn't they make Malika Andrews apologize to Stephen A. Smith after the way she spoke to him on television? Why wasn't she forced to apologize for her belligerent behavior on his show? Because I can almost guarantee you, had Stephen A. Smith been the one speaking to Malika Andrews the way she spoke to him, you better believe they would have sent him on a little short vacation. And it seems like they're trying to create this environment. I don't know what ESPN is doing. I don't know what they're doing. This whole push that's going on right now in the world, I'm not with it. I don't want to get political or anything like this, but I'm not with a lot of these agendas that are being pushed. I'm not with it. I'm not with being force-fed something that I don't want. I'm not with it. No, I don't want it. I don't want it. But you made the wrong decision when the moment you fire another person like Mark Jackson, immediately everybody gets upset. You know you're doing something wrong. Matter of fact, let me see what the audience thinks. Let me put up a poll here. Do you agree with, let me put up this poll, with ESPN firing Mark Jackson? Let me just see what people have to say about this, because I don't want to just believe it's just me. But I believe a lot of people do not agree with this. Let me put up this poll. Y'all let me know. Let me ask the community. Y'all let me know. What do y'all think about this? Do you think ESPN made the right decision? Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know. Do y'all think ESPN made the right decision to fire Mark Jackson? Like, for real. You already got rid of Jeff Van Gundy. Something no one can explain why. He was actually one of the good analysts covering games. He actually brought a unique perspective that no one else brought on the network, when at least covering games. And you fire him. I don't understand it. Then you fire him. And then you keep Malika Andrews and these people. I don't understand it. Someone said it's reverse sexism. I don't know what it is. But ESPN seems to be really, really pushing this line. And I don't know why. The worst part is they are going to replace Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy with JJ. Yeah, I heard about that. I'll never say anything bad about a player. Reddick, okay. It's the perfect move if you want to push a narrative. I appreciate that, Stuart. I don't want to say I don't believe ESPN is all about sports anymore. I think ESPN is about sports, but I also think they're about agendas at this point. And I think that they're trying to force feed this agenda down people's throats. Excuse me. And people are turning away. No. Somebody said ESPN is about money. They cannot be about money. You cannot say ESPN is about money and they do half of the stuff that they do and say they're about money. They're not about money. ESPN is going out of its way to alienate its male viewers. And the male viewers that they want is they have to be like of a certain disposition. They have to have like a certain point of view. And if you don't fit into you either got to be a clown and go up there and say a bunch of hot, ridiculous takes. You either got to be loud. You either got to be pushing some type of political agenda. But you can't really have any real masculine views, can you? Can you? I'll give you guys an example. Will Cain. Y'all remember Will Cain, right? Will Cain used to work at ESPN. Recently, there was this whole conversation about WNBA players and the Draymond Green thing that we talked about being paid the same amount. Will Cain, in this case, was talking about, I believe, female soccer players, if I'm not mistaken. And he was basically saying that men get paid more because they have a more attractive product, essentially. And somehow they sliced up his words and they wanted to turn it into like he was saying something sexist. And the point is this. Are you telling me that as a man, you're not allowed to have that opinion working at ESPN? I'm trying to understand this. You're not allowed to take that position? Why? Why? What's going on at ESPN? What is really going on? I was just recently listening to a report, and they said something like Disney lost $800 million, I think off of streaming or something, some crazy number. And they're going 100% in. And I don't understand why. People are clearly pushing back. People clearly don't like this narrative, and they're letting you know by hitting your pocketbooks, by unsubscribing to your service, and then they double down on it, which is something I just cannot understand. I don't understand it. But I think ESPN is going to be heading into a very, very, very interesting next 4 or 5 years. Because I think if they continue this, they're going to lose a lot of their customer base. they're going to lose a lot of their customer base if they continue with this. No one is saying you shouldn't have a political affiliation. No one is saying you shouldn't have political views. The problem becomes when you try to now force those views onto people. I have my political views. Some will agree, some will disagree, but it's my right to have them. The problem then becomes when I try to force feed you my views. That's the problem. Do you know why? Because this is not a politics channel. If I was a Ben Shapiro or a Secular Talk or one of these guys, then it's understandable. You know you're going to be getting some political views. You know that. You expect that. But in the case of ESPN, they're the worldwide leader in sports, or am I missing something? And the last time I checked, men watch sports. So why are they going out of their way to alienate their customer? I really don't understand. Guys, I really don't understand it. Maybe y'all can let me know. I really do not understand why you would alienate I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Do some people realize just how polarizing ESPN is becoming? For the new people coming in, ESPN just fired Mark Jackson. Let me just quickly read a little bit for the new people coming in, because I hate when I go to a live and I get there late and the main part is gone. So basically, according to Yahoo Sports, and we pinned that article at the top, ESPN's ongoing talent shakeup is expected to produce a dramatically revamped A team for its NBA broadcast. According to the New York Post, Andrew Marchand, the network has laid off longtime analyst Mark Jackson and is planning to promote analyst Doris Burke to call games alongside Doc Rivers and Mike Breen. So that's the big news. That's the big news. So ESPN has successfully gotten rid of Jeff Van Gundy and Mark Jackson. They're keeping Mike Breen, who does a good job, and then now they're going to promote Doc Rivers. I don't know how Doc Rivers got that job so quick. Anyway, I don't know. Doc Rivers must have the best agent in all of sports, for real. So they're getting Doc Rivers. They're going to promote Doris Burke, and they're going to keep Mike Breen. I've heard Doris Burke covering some games. Doc Rivers obviously used to cover some games with the network years ago. But anyway, back to my original point. They're doing all of these things, getting rid of all of these people. And to me, it seems like ESPN has made up their mind that if they lose tens of millions of customers, as long as they get their agenda across, that's what they're going to do. Craig Thomas, the last time I want to see, wait, let me see. The last time, let me see. Oh my God, man, there's so many things. Okay. The last time I think I want to see a bunch of women on ESPN reporting on NBA is done with ESPN. Now, listen, appreciate the comment. Appreciate the comment. I don't think his view is sexist whatsoever. I don't. I think the view that this gentleman just gave is the view a lot of guys who watch sports feel. They want to hear sports covered by guys predominantly. Are they saying that they don't want to see women talk about sports? No. But predominantly they want. And if we're going to be honest, let's be honest. All the guys watching this live right now will agree. I am not saying anything groundbreaking here at all. Trust me, there's an element of that. Trust me. And for the guys that patronize sports, that pay for these TVD packages, I think they have a right to what they want. They're not saying that they don't think women should get jobs in sports. No. They're just giving you their preference. And this is the reality. This is the reality. A lot of the men that watch these sports programs are also tired of being insulted on a daily basis every time they tune in. And then at the end, you ask them to continue to patronize your product. A lot of these men don't want to hear it no more. A lot of people are like, you know what? If this is what you're going to do, I'd rather not even watch. And to ignore that as the person given the service, in this case, ESPN, to me is incomprehensible. Because you're literally spitting in the face of your customer, which I just cannot understand. You think you're pushing the envelope. You're not. You're not pushing anything. What you're doing is alienating people. People are saying, we don't want this thing. And you're like, no, by force, you must have it. Hey, appreciate that, Candace. It's just, it is what it is. I know this. And I think there's an element of that you're seeing in the feedback of people saying this. I 100% believe. Is it right or wrong? I don't know if it's right or wrong, but I know it's the reality. I know it's the reality. Men like to watch men play sports, period. It just is what it is. If it's wrong, then that's the way it is. But I know that there are millions of men that feel that way. And I don't think you should feel ashamed for liking what you like. You don't need to feel ashamed for liking what you like. I'm sorry. I'm not in that boat. I'm really not. I'm not. If that's what you like, that's what you like. Me and my wife, who I dearly love, her and I can rarely watch anything on Netflix. Do you know why? It's because we have two totally different tastes. Does that make me better than her or her better than me? No. If you go to my Netflix account, you're going to see action movies, thrillers, Batman, all of those stuff. You go to her Netflix, you're going to see all of these romantic comedies. Now, is this wrong? No, but it's a reality. It's a reality. Maybe once in a while we can watch one or two shows together. But it's the reality. Men like certain things, women like other things. We're different. Not in a bad way, but it's real. And I think ESPN continuously doing it. We have produced a ton of videos on Malika Andrews. And almost the majority of the comments that I have read, people are like, why do they continuously keep this person at this network? Do you think they're saying they should get rid of Malika Andrews because maybe she doesn't know to talk, she doesn't know her job, maybe she's incompetent, maybe she's not? No. They're saying that because of her disposition towards her male colleagues. And the guys are like, we don't like it. We don't like it. We don't like it. And people are fed up. So now what are they going to do? Who does ESPN have now? Seriously, they got JJ Redick, who's new. They got Stephen A. Smith, who's been there. They just got Pat McAfee. But what I'm beginning to understand is that a lot of people are actually upset with Pat McAfee. I'm talking about his supporters are upset with Pat McAfee that he actually, not only that he left being independent, but who he left to go to. A lot of people are upset with that. A lot of his followers they were so upset that he had to put out a statement saying nothing is going to change. All we're going to do is not say the F word, blah, 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 blah. This is where this thing is heading. But now they got rid of Mark Jackson. Who's left? Who's left? Who's left? Who's left? So to me, I don't understand what they're doing anymore. But it seems like ESPN is on this push. They are on this type of push. And I think it's a larger issue taking place in the States. I follow it. I'm moving back to the States next year. I'm just been, Marco will tell you, maybe he's watching this live. I can't even tell you guys how many months I've spent trying to figure out the right state to move to. I'm gonna be back in the States for sure. And I've been following a lot of these things that are taking place, and I'm following it closely because I know I got to go back and re-engage inside the soup. I know that. And I'm following a lot of the things that are taking place in the States right now. And to me, it seems like ESPN has made up its mind that it's taking a particular side politically, and it's or politically or in its agenda, and it's going to push that on TV. And people are turning them off. I have no idea. Somebody said, what region? I have no idea. Some people talking about Texas. Some people talk. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I grew up in Maryland and New York, so I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm still used to the 4 seasons, so I don't know how the hell I'm going to do. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. I don't know. I'm from the East Coast, so I'm still trying to figure it out. Let me read this comment. Well, after firing credible newsmen and women while keeping toxic people on their payroll, ESPN will be blocked in my house. ESPN has truly destroyed any of all credibility. Appreciate the comment. If y'all think that's a joke, that's a lot of people saying Texas. Yeah, that's what I've heard, man. That's what a real person thinks. For somebody to say they cancel, Netflix got a lot of movies that I don't watch. Do you know what it's going to take for me to cancel Netflix? That means they got to do something so egregious. Or HBO Max. People are talking about actively canceling these people. Actively. Like, I'm done. Somebody said Maryland, yeah, but too many different state local taxes, man. I'm trying to avoid those taxes. But anyway, yeah. So to me, this doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me. It really doesn't surprise me. But ESPN is on something right now. They are on something, and I think that ESPN, something is going to happen where either they're bought by another company or sold to another company, but something major is going to happen. Because I guarantee you, they are going to continue to bleed subscribers. I can almost guarantee you this with these decisions that they're making. And the chickens are coming home to roost. If they're not careful, they're going to be so far gone that we're going to be sitting down one day talking about, man, you remember when ESPN was the number one? You see, people don't think that this thing can happen. Companies come and go. Some they lose their prominence and they just there. Companies come and go. It happens all the time. All the time. There's so many big companies that you thought, man, these companies are going to be here forever. And then you look back, you're like, bro, what happened? Let me ask y'all a question. Right now, this thing is moving towards streaming. Number one. Number two, I just listened to an interview with Bob Iger. This is the CEO of Disney. Let me read this. It's not an ESPN thing. It's an entitled Disney issue. They are leaning in on women's entitlement a little bit too much. Appreciate the comment. Malika holds someone's ball. Keep your channel live. Greetings from you. Hey, appreciate that. Appreciate that. Appreciate the comments. You see, I almost what is it? I almost lost my. Yeah, I was recently listening to Bob Iger, CEO of Disney. And as I was listening to him, he said, there is an inevitability to where we move exclusively over to streaming, where TV will no longer be the real thing. You see, TV is slowly dying. It's not gone yet, but it's slowly disappearing, and people's behaviors are changing. These guys are going to have to figure out a way to go direct to consumer. But let me ask you guys a question. Of all of the talents that ESPN has that we know of, how many of them these days How many people at ESPN are actually becoming stars at ESPN? How many? Mark Jackson, come coach my Dallas Mavs needs you. Appreciate the comment, Candace. How many? How many? If you look at the way this thing is going, all of the talented people are now being brought into ESPN. There's stories around them trying to get Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp is somebody coming outside the system. But who do they have inside the system that they're turning into a major star if it's not somebody that's been there for over 10 years? Who? Who are the fresh new faces? Somebody says, well, JJ Redick. No. JJ Redick already had the Old Man and the Three, the podcast, the JJ Redick podcast. Then he went there and took some of his audience to ESPN. That's what happened. If we had 500,000 subscribers and we get a job somewhere, some of the people watching this show will go watch me on that show. You're bringing some of your audience with you. Who are they creating? What stars are they making? It's all older guys. You got Stephen A. Smith and all of these guys. It's all older guys. Who are the young stars that they're making? They're not making anybody. There are more people talking sports independently. Okay, Kendrick Perkins is one of them. Tim Legler has been there forever. Tim Legler has been there forever. There are more people talking sports independently that are moving and shaking more than those guys you see on TV. This is just the truth. If content creators were paid the same rate that people on television were paid, content creators would make so much more money than people on TV. It wouldn't even be funny. How do I know this? On TV, you get paid $1 per view. It's one view to $1. Some shows can be a little bit more than $1. One view to $1. So if you have a show that gets 139,000 viewers a day, like for example, Undisputed, and you're selling that to advertisers, then you can afford to pay Skip Bayless and all of these guys millions. On YouTube in these places, they pay you per thousand. Per thousand. There are guys off of TV that get way more views. Look at Joe Rogan. Look at Joe Rogan. Do you know Joe Rogan gets more views than people you see on Fox News, CNN? That's why he was such a threat, because of his audience. Who is ESPN creating right now? Who are the big names that they're creating? Who? And now they got rid of all of the people that people like. You're going to get rid of Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy? Man, listen. Y'all can rock with them. I like Ryan Clark. But if you can see Ryan Clark, I think he got his own show called, I think it's I Am Athlete. I think he has also his own show, I Am Athlete, if I'm not mistaken. I Am Athlete. He was smart. I Am Athlete. So what I think is, okay, it's Pivot. Okay, maybe it's Pivot. I could be wrong. Okay, it's Pivot. One of those two is either Pivot or I Am Athlete. Okay, it's the Pivot. Great show, the Pivot. Thank you for the correction. The Pivot. I Am Athlete is the one with Brandon Marshall and these guys. Yeah, okay, yeah. The Pivot. I used to watch it. So the way this thing is going, man, I think that there are going to be some more shakeups coming in the future. And Disney and these guys, man, I don't know what they're doing. But eventually they're going to have to find a way to go direct to consumer. Because a lot of people why would I spend money to watch people talk about sports when I can watch it for free? And they're going to have to solve that problem. I don't want, somebody said, I don't want Wham and male sports. Okay, period. They always disrupt the vibe. Remember, love with dad. I'm banned completely. Appreciate the comment. Hey, Charles. And wow, Mark Jackson replaced by Doc Rivers. Madness. Did you get a chance to check out the interview? My interview with Steve Kerr. Okay, that's the pull up. What is it? The pull up pod? Yeah, check out. Make sure you guys check out the pull up podcast. So it's a great podcast. Pretty cool dude. Make sure you guys go check out the pull up podcast. He's doing some pretty good things, and he also has some pretty exclusive interviews. Make sure you check out the Pull Up Podcast. A pretty cool channel. Appreciate the comment. So Mark Jackson is gone. Mark Jackson is gone. So, guys, man, we're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see. I don't know where ESPN is going right now, but we're gonna have to see where this thing is going. To me, I don't know what's coming next. I don't know what's coming next for them. So, guess we have to wait and see. Anyway, thank you guys for being a part of this live, man. We got almost 1,800 people in here. If you guys got any questions, I can stick around for about a minute or so. You guys have any questions, leave them in the comments. Let me just see. I'll stay around for like another minute. Sad day for basketball, shaking my damn head. Mickey Mouse is ESPN next biggest star. Somebody said Mickey Mouse is ESPN's next biggest star. Okay. Mark Jackson will never coach again. They blackball. I don't know what happened to him. Man down. He's gone. ESPN keeps people talking. I guess so. I just wish that all of this talking would actually translate to dollars and cents, because they're losing money. So all of that talking got to amount to something. It got to amount to something. Dreamers for the ESPN. Oh, nah, man. We would lose all of our subscribers, man. Plus, like, what did Charles Barkley say? Why do they work? They work you like a dog. What did somebody say? Why do you hate LeBron, bro? God damn. Y'all see this, man? We talking about somebody that just lost his job, and then here come this dude. And if I respond, then I'm like, hey, come on, man. Anyway, I appreciate you guys, man. Y'all have a good one. We catch you guys on the next one. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.